The government shutdown is now the longest in U.S. history at 36 days. President Trump again today reiterating his desire for the U.S. Senate to get rid of the filibuster to reopen the government without any Democratic support. So today we're getting the facts on that. Lou Jacobson with PolitiFact here with us once again. So Lou, historically the filibuster has given the minority party at least a seat at the table on some of the biggest decisions when it comes to legislating. You know, some argue that it leads more to compromise in the Senate. So if Senate Republicans want to take on the president's request, how would they go about doing it?
Yeah, so there's a complicated way the Senate could do it with a simple majority using some really carefully choreographed moves known as the nuclear option. Now, the nuclear option doesn't have to be used to kill the filibuster in its entirety. It could be used to stop its use only for certain purposes. And one of those could be just to stop it for spending bills, like the one that's being fought over now and is kind of the key in keeping the government shut down.
Now, we have seen the filibuster eliminated on some smaller decisions, kind of like you're talking about here in the Senate, like some nominations under Harry Reid. They did the nuclear option in that sense. What can you tell us about the Senate's willingness, though, to make a move to ending the filibuster when it comes to something this big, like trying to figure out the budget?
Yeah, so although Trump has secured congressional GOP support on most issues during his second term, Senate Republicans so far haven't been rushing to kill the filibuster. Several of their top leaders and rank and file members have said that they are opposed to it so far.
And Lou, has part of this been what they expect will happen? Should they one day be in the minority? Has that been part of the calculation?
Yeah, so there are really a couple of reasons why Democrats, Republicans, and just senators in general have been reluctant to do this. One argument against ending the filibuster is that today's political majority could become tomorrow's political minority, and no party wants to take that risk. If you look historically, Republicans have been fairly favorable of the filibuster more than Democrats have, because the filibuster makes it harder to establish new federal programs, and that's a common goal of Democrats. Democrats, for their part, have a concern because structurally the Senate has a bit of a bias towards smaller, more rural states, and because of that, it's become increasingly hard for Democrats to take control of the chamber. And given that, they should, if you're a Democrat, should want to preserve the filibuster over the long term. But actually, the biggest factor might be something even more simple than that. It's that the filibuster gives a lot of power to a single senator to block action and to give them leverage. And a lot of senators in both parties aren't too keen on giving up that sort of leverage permanently, even if their party might gain in the short term.
Oh, very interesting. Lou Jacobson with PolitiFact. Thanks for giving us all that today. Appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.